The world is watching, so you cannot mess up. Know your target audience and stay in your lane. Color inside the lines. If you don't, you can no longer conform. 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 All eyes on you. Conform. Conform. Conform.
Hello. My name is Sahar Rana. I'm a photographer, director, and multimedia artist. And today I wanted to talk about something. I really want to get back to the root of why I create. So I'm gonna go on a little rant of why you should create for no one else but you. As creatives, it's really hard to feel like anything you're doing is enough, especially in this day and age with social media. It's so odd that we're always watching everyone else's lives. And because it's so normalized now and we're consuming so much, we think that our life should be a different way as well. I actually did an interview recently with Wurud Mag. One of the questions was what advice I would give to others, and it's something that I needed to hear for myself as well.
Any kind of advice for anyone aspiring to kind of go on the similar journey that you have? Cutting out the noise. Even if it's positive noise, you should do this, you should try and do that. Here are dreams that I think you should have. You really need to isolate yourself for a bit, especially from the socials, because everyone is just doing their own thing and you think that whatever they're doing is right to make them successful. It's really know yourself, know what you want, sit down with yourself, love yourself. Because if you don't do that, you're just going to be influenced by what everyone else wants to do. And it'll drain you so much to the point that you just want to quit.
As time passed by, I realized there's no rules out here. There's no one definitive path you should be taking in order to succeed. Everyone is out here trying to make it. And you can take a lot of people's lives and what they're doing as inspiration. But I believe there has to be a limit before you get carried away and you try to become someone else to succeed instead of truly being yourself. As a kid, you don't feel like you have any eyes on you and you can just do whatever you want without any consequences, and you can take as many risks as you need to. There's not really any people counting on you. As you get older, there's a lot of other things attached, but thinking about the freedom that kids have when they're creating art, I'm sort of taking it as a reminder to create like no one is watching. If you knew for a fact that no one else was looking at the things you were doing and no one has a say in how your art should be, then how would you act? I think for me, first of all, there would be no imaginary deadlines or pressure and turning myself into a art making machine where I'm always pushing out something new every single time. If I created like no one else was watching, I would take everything as a bit of an experiment instead of feeling like I need to have every final product be perfect in the eyes of people. It sort of becomes a practice where you have to train your brain to believe that your artwork has value even if it is not seen by the rest of the world. Because once you attach the value of your creativity to the reception of other people, then that's what you'll be creating based on. I think I'd also stop comparing myself so much to others. I look at how much work I put into things and then seeing the result of it. It makes me feel like what I'm doing is not enough or it's not right. But there's no right or wrong in art and creativity. There's no box that you have to fit inside of. You just keep doing whatever you're doing. Even if whatever you create ends up looking bad, take that fear out. If you create like no one's watching, then it's okay if you fail because you don't have all these eyes on you. You need to focus on what you want without caring about what other people will say about it. I watched this interview on YouTube from David Bowie. It was about creativity and artistry itself, and he gave some solid advice.
Never work for other people in what you do. Always remember that the reason that you initially started working was that there was something inside yourself that you felt that if you could manifest it in some way, you would understand more about yourself and how you coexist with the rest of society. And I think it's terribly dangerous for an artist to fulfill other people's expectations. I think they generally produce their worst work when they do that.
I'm not gonna lie though, focusing on only what you need and not having all these voices get to you is very difficult. If it wasn't important, then you would just never share anything at all. Why do we share our artwork in the first place? Is it to inspire? Is it to make connections? Is it to get the job? Is it for fame? There's another quote that I'm reminded of actually. It's from Wall and Peace, the book from 2005 by Banksy. He says that the time of getting fame for your name on its own is over. Artwork that is only about wanting to be famous will never make you famous. Any fame is a byproduct of making something that means something. You don't go to a restaurant and order a meal just because you want to have a shit. Man, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I just want to be seen. I just want to be heard. I don't want to be invisible. I want to feel that appreciation for the hard work that I do. I want my stories to be known. The problem is when you create things for self-expression and for yourself, and then you attach that with how many eyes are on it, and then that's how you start to calculate whether something is good or not, and it really affects your self-esteem. As much as I wish that I could just create for myself and no one else, it's really complicated when your entire life is on social media. It's on display for others to see, and you have to keep up with the game in order to be seen. There is information overload. I can't focus on what I need to do and what I want to do because I keep seeing all this other stuff that exists. This is by no means saying that inspiration is bad for you. You have to have a balance of consuming versus creating. If you are only consuming and trying to find your style from that instead of practicing your own artwork, then you'll be lost. It's a balance of doing both and going out into the world and figuring things out while you're working and being hands-on instead of just having inspiration and motivation come to you while you're just sitting there. I really just have to focus on doing what works for me, what is most sustainable for me, what are my greatest values, what is the balance that I need. If you put in the work and you keep doing what you're doing, then it's inevitable that you will see success because of your actions. So it's not up to me what the result is, but it is up to me what the action is. And finally being able to create without worrying about anyone watching, without worrying about what it'll get me, but creating just for the sake of it. Even if no one else watches this video, then I'm happy with the fact because all the ideas and thoughts that I had in my head are now out into the world. It still benefited me because it's a documentation of my own journey. I am the audience. I'm not gonna destroy my self-expression, even if it's too loud for others or too quiet for others. I just need to be happy with the fact that I get a chance to create whatever I want. Some of my greatest work and what other people ended up enjoying the most anyway, or what people decide to hire me for, is the work that I produced when I only created for myself. When I had that pure self-expression and that decision of creative direction from beginning to end. There was no overthinking involved in the process at all. I think that true self-expression comes from rebellion, and at the root of creating something great is going against the norm and not trying to fit into the mold, because once you do that, you lose all originality. The true artists since the beginning of time are the ones who became big because they were not trying to fit into that mold. They were becoming the truest version of themselves.
Conform. Conform. All eyes on you. Conform.